Barony is a game that allows you to play as an unfeeling, psychotic, murderous artificial intelligence, aka Clanker. He said it! This might sound horrifying, but truthfully, this ChatGPT knockoff is plagued with more weaknesses than a kid whose mum quotes Google AI as to why she doesn't vaccinate. Starting with -2 strength, -3 constitution, -2 armor, and only 25 health, this soulless little robot would die reading a strongly worded letter. Ah, my one weakness. Everything. To make things worse, Clanker is weak to axes, maces, and all magic, which luckily for us just so happens to be the main way most enemies deal damage. Holy shit, strafe, strafe, strafe! Even our supposed strength, like our lack of hunger, is actually bullshit. Instead, replaced by an endlessly starving boiler that if we don't keep burning will end our lives immediately. Thankfully, just like real life, if this robotic crack addict can rip enough copper piping out of the walls and steal enough car stereos, he can start creating fully automated turrets that fire magical arrows, and explosive traps strong enough to blow himself and everyone else sky high. Holy crap, look at the damage! Armed with nothing but his Kiss the Cook apron, tinkering kit, and murderous inhuman rage, Clanker's goal today is to somehow traverse 35 floors of monster-infested mines, swamps, ruins, and even hell itself to destroy every living and unliving creature to finally find peace and quiet. But to do that, first, we have to steal our neighbor's underwear. No, seriously. You see, Clanker, much like a modern-day Twitter user, is unable to create anything original. Instead, he must steal, destroy, and repurpose other people's more creative work to succeed. That's why as soon as we blink awake into sentience, we begin ripping the copper wire out of the walls to break into scrap, and then turning that scrap into simple sentry turrets. These turrets, similar to the American military complex, are fully automated and kill without hesitation or consequence. Finding a large hallway, we get to work collecting rare treasure to turn into scrap, kiting enemies into what is essentially a kill box, making sure we never engage them directly. Why? Because these first few floors, almost all enemies are resistant to ranged, which is the only damage I can personally do right now. Things get worse because despite only being on the floor for a few minutes, our boiler is already about to run out. With no other options, we're forced to eat the very thing that we need to become more powerful, our scrap. Thankfully, like a true American patriot, if I find any books or scrolls, I can burn those, keeping my boiler alive while also stopping the spread of knowledge. I just ate this dude's mail. I think it was his tax return. Moving on to floor 2, we quickly set up our new kill box and craft ourselves a noise-making device. Programming this device to play the sound of a horny MILF, we toss it down, and this appears to be a terrible mistake. Suddenly, 2 drunken stepfathers charge us. This could be the end. But I have a plan. We do absolutely nothing while one of them decides to stand ominously and silently at the end of a corridor, dying to arrows. With him down, we place bear traps directly underneath the other, paralyzing and bleeding them until they die as well. Yep, all according to plan. While they didn't drop anything great, the experience gained is immense. We are well on our way to becoming unstoppable. While riding this high, I turn a corner, suddenly a cloaked Mormon jumps out, floats over 2 bear traps, beats me to death with a mace, and to rub salt in the robotic wound, takes my hat. Alright, that's just disrespectful, you piece of shit. As the light fades from my eyes and the noise of the world begins to deafen, I realize this might be for the best. After all, destruction, death, power, it's a fool's game. Until we flicker awake again. If we can't die, everyone else will have to. Rushing into the first floor, we're immediately surrounded and ambushed by the rare elite skeleton Funny Bones. A single hit from his powerful meaty axe will kill me, but by using a series of bear traps and sacrificing our turrets, we're able to take him and his allies out. I can't tell if losing my turrets and bear traps as early is good or not, but hey, I got an axe. Unable to identify any of the powerful gear he drops, it could be cursed, locking our equipment slot. However, even if the overpowered artifact axe is cursed, the fact we don't have a soul means we can equip and unequip cursed items. Sadly, with no skill in axes, it will be a while before this does any real damage for us. We begin trying to guide unsuspecting victims into the kill box and salvaging their dirty underwear to be turned into turrets. The problem is, other than Funny Bones, this first floor is relatively abandoned. The severe lack of both experience and loot means we're gonna need a plan if we want to destroy the world. First, we will need a lot of experience, which means taking these next few floors incredibly slowly, murdering every single creature we find, even at the risk of our boiler drying up. Second, we will need to find a pickaxe before we reach floor 5, which you'll see is crucial for our long-term success. This means we will absolutely need to visit the Gnomish Mines, a labyrinthian hellscape filled with fat little chuds who gibber and jabber in the dark, delighting in tasing you into submission before jamming a pickaxe through your skull. In order to do that, we need to take the secret exit on the next floor. Except, immediately, all our plans are ruined. Floor 2 is a Minotaur floor. This terrifying 9-foot tall furry is the bane of almost all of my Barony runs. However, not for Clanker. You see, even as early as floor 2, it can be killed by a mechanist. That is, if the mechanist had any actual scrap or enemies to kill on the first floor, which we did not. Instead, we're forced to rush to the secret exit leading to the Gnomish Mines, skipping all of the experience and scrap we desperately need. What the hell's going on? Where are the mines? Oh, fuck. For the observant viewer, you may notice that Barony is doing exactly what Barony does best, ruining our plans. You see, the mines should be a guaranteed spawn. However, because our spawn room was generated in the center of the map and takes priority, it overwrote the secret exit. With no real experience, no scrap, low on health, and a boiler crying out for anything at all, we're forced to abandon our plans and prepare ourselves to be easily destroyed over the next few floors. Pushing forward, we find several humans though, who this time rather than attack us, ask us mundane questions that should be common sense. After a short back and forth, they begin drooling. Their brains seem to have turned to mush. Unable to function without my input, they seem indentured to me for life. Which doesn't last long because they charge directly into the first troll they see, dying immediately. Alright, well, at least they're good scrap. It's an incredibly slow process playing a Mechanist, being forced to methodically kite trolls and mimics into our kill box before individually picking up each piece of equipment, identifying it, and salvaging it one by one into scrap. But there is no other way to salvage, sadly. Thankfully, we do find a faceplate that buffs our melee damage, making Parashu, our axe, finally do damage despite our non-existent skills. Progressing through the mine slowly, almost dying to multiple boulders, we manage to craft a small robotic helicopter, who we call Jiro. He will allow us to detect enemies, cast light, and even collect my turrets for me between floors, which is incredibly powerful because we've managed to build a small army of both sentries and magical turrets now. All of these turrets, scrap, and gold begin to weigh me down, putting me at risk of being unable to escape our enemies, and it's only going to become worse as our army expands. I'll need to find a way to boost my dexterity if I want to avoid being so slow that even these trolls can catch and destroy me in a single hit. Thankfully, as we near the end of the mines, I realize the sheer number of trolls we've had to kill has allowed us to level up quite a bit, but sadly, our plans are derailed once again. You see this totally not ominous skull and bones? If I had a pickaxe, we could open this, go to the underworld, kill an evil spirit, get a very powerful artifact bow, but we can't. Instead, we have to go to fucking Florida while underleveled and undergeared. With nothing going as planned, we enter the swamp biome, set up our kill box, and begin trying to lure the local poisonous slimes, crack addicts, and violent green locals, but sadly, our first altercation is a nun who tries to stop me shitting in her church fountain. For some reason, my turrets don't see her as an enemy, likely because nuns don't have souls. Things continue to go badly as this floor and the next is almost completely abandoned, except for, that's right, another nun who decides I'm not worth attacking this time, likely because I don't have a penis. Oh man, you watch. I'm gonna make so much scrap and use it to craft a giant cock, and you'll wish you had seduced me and killed me. 2 floors into the swamp with almost nothing to show for it, Clanker decides that while we may not have a penis, we do have giant steel balls, and major risks are required if we want to succeed. That means entering the jungle temple. This foul-smelling, dilapidated ruins, much like my local KFC, is filled with violent goblins and drunken overweight men. Thankfully, they're all locked in cages. But if you're foolish enough to wander in too deep, all of these spring open, releasing dozens of goblins and trolls at once, who will then surround you and begin playing Soggy Seo with you as the Seo. Fellas, don't Google that. We prepare by placing what can only be described as a Geneva Convention breaking firing line, filled with bear traps on the only bridge in or out of the temple. With that, we make our way inside, trigger the gates, before leading the drunken violent inhabitants back towards both the literal and metaphorical bridge to the afterlife. I can't see them, they're just off in the darkness being blown apart by arrows and magics from my drones. Fuck, is this how Obama feels? Eventually, the screams die down and we are able to enter the temple to gather our spoils, including the artifact branch bow, which could be considered a weapon of mass destruction as it applies an AoE poison and slow, making these drone strikes totally legal in the eyes of the world. We also find a pair of cute bunny ears that buff dexterity, which is exactly what we need to boost our range damage and our movement speed. If we can keep these from breaking, eventually we'll be able to bless them, increasing the dexterity they give. For now, we gather all the loot on the map in 2 piles, one that we plan to keep and one for turning to scrap. This time, I decide to use the AoE salvage spell we start with to break the pile down on the floor in one go. Why didn't I use this earlier to save time? Partly because identifying the items boosts my lore skill and salvaging manually increases tinkering skill, but mostly because I relish in frustrating know-it-alls and baiting them into commenting. As we leave the temple, smugly knowing I've done my best to increase engagement on the video, I'm met with that lovely little bovine face, meaning the Minotaur will be here any second. And let me tell you, Daddy is thirsty for his milk. Fellas, there is nothing to be gained from risking the Minotaur, at least nothing important. Sure, a gem worth thousands of gold and some measly experience, but if that's all, why are we risking this? Simple, to finally stop the comments asking why we don't fight the Minotaur. Fueled by these comments, I build the largest kill box yet, clear out any locals, and use their clothes to create more weapons of mass destruction, stacking these explosive traps at a small choke point outside spawn. But it goes wrong. Before we can retreat behind our turrets, he appears. I try to rush away, but turn briefly to see him run through the explosives, and holy crap, he got half health! Rushing to relative safety, I don't notice the boulder trap suddenly hurtling towards me, but I do manage to sidestep and watch as the Minotaur takes the ball directly to his face. Distracted by me, however, our turrets are able to freely attack, and eventually his arrow-riddled corpse flops to the floor, rewarding us with a measly 38 experience and a single sapphire worth 2,500 gold. It's really not worth it. You could die here and lose your entire run. but at least you guys will stop commenting now. No time to waste, our boiler is hungry. Riding the high from the Minotaur and overconfident, Clanker decides to risk it all by entering the Haunted Fortress. This seemingly abandoned castle is home to the artifact boots. However, if you're foolish enough to pick these up, you'll spawn hundreds of enraged ghouls who will en masse rip you to shreds. However, thanks to the sheer number of turrets we have, this won't be a problem. But this overconfidence is about to be our undoing. Setting up what defenses we can, but with no scrap left after the Minotaur, we're only able to craft 4 bear traps to protect our turrets. With no other choice, we enter the fortress and collect our cursed prize, the Oracle Treads. These have the ability to sense enemies on the minimap and a nice boost to my armor. But before we can celebrate or feel any positive emotion whatsoever, I hear the moans of the ghouls outside. And it begins. The wave of ghouls ignore our turrets and begin charging straight towards us. Thankfully, the bear trap-filled choke point makes our branch bow fantastic at keeping them at bay. With the first wave down, we quietly step outside and see every turret was in fact destroyed. Alright, we reset the bear traps, we scrap the broken turrets, build more out of the scrap, diminishing returns, but we got this. The next wave crashes into us. We do what we can, but our turrets continue to fall. Our boiler demands what little scrap we have left, and eventually the bear traps are whittled down, breaking, forcing me to venture out and take the fight to the enemy. Parashu and the branch bow are powerful, but I'm forced back over and over. Shut the door! They can open doors! Run! But then our luck returns. One of the ghouls spawns as a rare elite Coral Grimes. This elite, for some reason, is unable to open a door and blocks the others from reaching it. Using my branch bow's AoE, I'm able to slowly gas the enemies, before using Parashu to take out the stragglers. I think it's over. After 18 minutes of endlessly fighting, it goes quiet. We entered at level 19 and are leaving just shy of level 24. But once again, before we can celebrate, things go wrong. You see, I found an alembic earlier and have been experimenting with the magical ability known as alchemy. With my inventory clogged up with 3 different types of water potion, I decided to use these to duplicate the powerful health potions I've been hoarding slowly throughout the levels. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, not bad. 5 health potions. I started with only 2. That's awesome. Let's go again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, no health potions, lost them all. Please cut this. With that, we move on to the final floor of the swamp. For some reason, a jeweler has decided to set up a shop in the middle of the wilderness, and he's willing to buy all of our blood jewels for just over 6,000 gold. Classic AI move, hoarding resources meant for humans and using it to make money. As we prepare to enter the next biome, we rescue a young girl named Pippa and swear to protect her forever, only to watch as a boulder is released and barrels right into her. If anyone asks, she stepped on a pressure plate. And with that, it's time for the Sand Labyrinth. This biome is like making love to an 85-year-old woman. Dry, dusty, and full of bugs, which immediately attack us before we can even get our full kill box down. We drive them off and thankfully find a small shop filled with blank scrolls. Useless for now, but if we can find the keywords for repair or bless this run, then God himself will begin to fear us. Continuing forward, we use a pickaxe we found in the Haunted Fortress to bust open the next secret floor, but before we can enter, we find a strange book. Inside it details the story of Barreled Jenkins, an adventurer who encounters the evil Lich Dictator, the very man we are currently making our way to in order to kill. Terrified by the Lich's power, the man strikes a deal, trading his soul to the devil to be used however he wishes. In this moment, a spark occurs deep within Clanker's mind. Memories return, and I realize this soul was the base code that his very intelligence is based on, meaning that his father, the father of all AI, is in fact Satan himself. Shocked, we enter the secret floor, but it's too late. We have made a terrible mistake. Wait, where's my army of turrets? Where's Jiro? Jiro is dead, and you, the commenter, didn't even notice, meaning our entire army of turrets are still on the last floor. With almost no scrap and losing all of our damage, this could be a run-ending mistake, especially because our new goal is to enter hell and kill our father, Satan. With no choice but to push forward, we begin clearing the secret floor of Suckerbarn. Using a ring of might we found several floors ago, we begin slowly and methodically playing with the balls and pushing them into holes in order to unlock a pair of rare artifact gloves. These gloves will give me magic resistance, a stat crucial for all boss fights. This might seem like an underwhelming and even boring secret area, but that's because you don't know it's inspired by Japan, and now you, as a white man in his 20s, are legally required to think this is amazing. New gloves literally in hand, and only 3 floors left until the next biome, we will need to slowly and carefully grind out scrap in order to rebuild all of our turrets. However, thirsty for revenge, the Minotaur has somehow returned from hell. With no confident way to kill him, we're forced to skip not 1, but 2 floors worth of experience and scrap. Every time we get ahead, something something gets us. Thankfully, on the final floor of your sand labyrinth, we managed to take out several gangs of insectoids, use their skin to rebuild a few turrets, and even craft Jiro 2.0. About to leave and enter the next biome, I paused to check a chest. Inside is a scroll of Zelgo Mare, which on this particular run is a scroll of enchant weapons. Fellas, this is massive, mostly because we've been hoarding blank scrolls and a feather for several floors now. We craft 3 blessed weapon scrolls and use them to buff our branch bow by 4 extra damage. This might not seem like a lot, but it's the equivalent of hiding hot sauce soaked nails inside your Nerf darts before throwing them on the ground and shooting your friends with an RPG instead. Our luck continues as we find a scroll of Garbender, or Repair. Until now, almost all of our key equipment was at risk of breaking, and in fact any damage we took was weakening it down further and further. But now with these scrolls, we'll be able to keep everything in good condition, at least until our tinkering is strong enough to repair them ourselves. This run is going to look really overpowered, but just wait until we get to hell. But first, the ruins. If you're unsure what to expect in this biome, let me simply show you what happens when I place down a single noisemaker. Holy crap! Is this what it feels like to be an e-girl? They don't stop. Even if I say leave me alone, they just keep coming through the door. Over 30 gnomes die trying to reach the noisemaker as it plays the sound of a bachelorette party ordering shots at the bar. If we aren't in hell yet, I don't know where we are. Not bothering to even inspect their blood-soaked gear, we salvage everything, move our kill box, and continue our warpath. Hundreds of fat little gnomes stumble unknowingly into our firing line. By the end of the first floor, we've gained multiple levels and too much scrap to even carry, forced to literally craft explosive traps just so that we can move. Thankfully, we also find a scroll of Pratyavaya, or Enchant Armor. Crafting and stacking these on our bunny ears boosts the dexterity, increasing our range damage, but more importantly, our movement speed, which we need because we accidentally encounter our first demon. Oh shit, close the door. Oh shit, he can open doors! Run! With only a few floors left before we descend into hell itself, we need to prepare carefully, and that means entering the Mystic Library. In order to do this safely, we need to mine a hole in this wall here. The problem is, in order to enter hell, we also need the pickaxe. I'm sure one hit won't break the pick. And it broke the pick. Fuck! Entering the library, this secret area is filled with powerful magical spells, scrolls, and armor. Thankfully, as an automaton, the incel magicians inside are friendly and spend most of their time asking me to roleplay as their girlfriend. I happily oblige, gathering material for blackmail and then forcing them to join our party. The only problem, for some reason, Jiro didn't retrieve our turrets, which I only notice as the very first chest we check attacks me because it's a mimic. Shit my dick off! Oh no! Oh, ripped my armor off! Oh, it's stripping me nude! Run! Barony being Barony, things go from bad to fucked when the magical incels decide to try help by blasting me with several fireballs. And because my damage is AoE, there is a good chance the non-blackmailed magicians will also aggro to me any second now. I quickly rush forward mid-battle, explaining that if they give me access to their Gmail account, I can summarize large email threads for them as well as read their bank statements. And of course, they join me immediately. The rest of the library goes far smoother. Using our lockpicks, we steal several scrolls that allow us to repair and bless even more equipment, bringing our bunny ears to +4 and our bow to +5. From there, we destroy dozens of culturally important artifacts and exit to the next floor where we rebuild our turrets. Sadly, our new incel allies refuse to hide in the corner like I asked and charge out, dying immediately to the gnomes and bugbears. I mean, every run, I go to that library. Every run, these idiots die on the next floor. No one watching is surprised anymore. We spend 15 minutes slowly churning through gnomes and bugbears, salvaging everything we can before it's finally time to enter the underworld. Similar to New York, this dark, desolate hellscape isn't actually hell. Instead, it's simply the entrance. We'll have to fight our way through several floors of dirt-covered ruins filled with one-hit kill mechanics, sickly crack addicts, masked thieves who steal our belongings while trying to murder us, and of course, horrifying little children who giggle as they throw Molotov cocktails at us. All of this while being forced to take the equivalent of a subway, which randomly teleports us between different dangerous locations. Or that would be the case if we didn't have a ring of levitation. I need you guys to see how seriously I'm taking this. Look at me strafing. I never strafe. I don't even believe in dodging attacks. Thanks to our ability to fly, we're able to make relatively short work of this normally terrifying biome. However, as we near New Jersey, the true entrance to hell, we stumble into a pentagram. Before we have time to react, several demons appear and attempt to murder us. Thankfully, they only manage to destroy my magic reflection amulet, but it's gone wrong. You see, the pentagram is the entrance to hell, and I don't know how to make it work. Yeah, I'm lost. The only thing on the floor now is the exit back to the ruins, I think. Shit. I guess my floor generation went wrong again? Okay. I've spent way too long looking. I'm just gonna head back the normal route. Oh fuck, we're in hell. Fellas, let me tell you right now, if there's one thing that will make you realize just how unoptimized your build is, it's the moment you accidentally on purpose enter hell while wearing a faceplate that buffs melee and being primarily ranged. With no time to think, drunken goatmen, horny devils, and sadistic demons immediately begin blasting us with powerful magic. That was like 3 demons, multiple goatmen, a shade, an incubus, and there's even more coming. Enemies fall quickly, and we continue salvaging almost everything they drop, but there is a problem. I am becoming overconfident. It may seem I am incredibly powerful, but without my turrets, I'm incredibly weak, as shown when I accidentally lock myself in a room with 2 sexually frustrated devils who say they saw me across the bar and like my vibe. Turning them down proves to be a mistake as they immediately attack and almost kill me. Continuing our warpath through hell, I'm unsure what to expect when I finally reach my father, but before that, it seems we made a horrible mistake killing that Minotaur. His soul went to hell after all, and it wants revenge. While being blasted by devils and slimes, I begin crafting dozens of explosive traps, preparing a small pile of 20. I wait patiently, and before we know it, the bastard appears. But, learning from his mistake, he ignores me and the traps, choosing to instead destroy my turrets. Hey others! Ugly! Come here! Oh shit, he's coming here. I circle around, attempting to kite him into the explosives, but he continually sidesteps them, while my turrets fill him with arrows. He's down. Wait, what did he just drop? An amulet of sex change and a diamond? Was he proposing? Did we just get engaged? Oh god, what am I gonna tell my dad? Marching forward, we enter the final floor of hell, spawning in a tightly packed cave. We're chased by dozens of demons as we barrel around corners like a rat in a maze. Once free, we throw down our stronghold, blasting everyone to pieces. Soaked in blood, guts, and a little bit of cum from the succubus, we prepare to enter the cathedral, but stop as we find a small necklace. Unsure what it does, we equip it. Inside, we strip nude, dancing in the blood of our enemies to summon the final portal. And by that I mean I pull some levers. Stepping through, we appear before our creator, our father, Baphomet. No words are exchanged as he immediately turns to destroy me, and I shit myself. Boulders begin barreling across the sacrificial blood grounds, hellfire rains from the sky, devils appear behind me as I attempt to place down turrets. Most are destroyed immediately, but Baphomet is taking damage. Wait, is this gonna be easy? Am I a pro? The answer? No. While strafing around the battleground, I'm suddenly grabbed by something. Baphomet appears on top of me and instantly kills me. 4 hours of work gone, over in a single moment. Until my amulet triggers, shattering and bringing me back to life. It might not be over, but I am still trapped with my father inside of me. I begin chugging health potions as I take hundreds of damage every second. Finally, he finishes with 12 fireballs directly inside of me, almost one-hitting me again as I continue to chug potions. He teleports away, freeing me. Stunned by this near death, I stand there as imps pepper me with fire. I am forced to drink the last of my potions. It's not looking good. I quickly craft more turrets and place them far from the boulders. I turned loose an arrow at our father and it connects. Baphomet explodes. But before we can celebrate, 2 Minotaurs appear and charge me. Holy fuck, this wasn't in the book! This wasn't in the book about this! We begin circling, desperately throwing explosives at our feet as we run, but I realize they can't catch me thanks to our adorable little bunny ears. I turn loose an arrow. It skewers the jugular of one and he collapses. We circle, loose another, this time ripping the balls right off the final Minotaur. We try to rest to catch our breath, but it's not over. The roof begins to cave in, driving me towards a long hallway. But demons begin pouring out, seeking revenge, wishing to take my crown and become king of hell. We cut them down as they come. Eventually, our mind goes blank. We fight for what feels like years, until finally, through the crumbling hellscape, a bright light. With our source code destroyed, our soul saved, we can see it. Heaven. Finally, peace, quiet, and as much motor oil as I can snort off the back of a sexy Roomba. Until something shifts. A darkness appears. Suddenly, we crash back to Earth. A vision warns me. The incestuous Silicon Valley brother and sister duo who rule the Magician's Guild have taken a copy of our code and are using it for world domination. Fellas, I'm pissed. Arriving back in Hamlet, we blackmail several local adventurers into joining our party before immediately selling all of our blood diamonds we gathered murdering the bovine bastards, including several pieces of magical jewelry, bringing us to over 15,000 gold. We make our way to the potion shop and purchase his entire stock. Our plan is to drink all of this to boost our alchemy skill, starting with a potion of confusion. Holy fuck, why are they attacking? I drank it, not them. What the fuck is happening? For some reason, the shopkeepers begin attacking each other and my allies. I stand stunned until our confused status ends, and suddenly both shopkeepers begin ignoring everyone except each other, endlessly firing at each other as we watch on. This lasts a full 15 minutes, and when we enter again, it seems they have simultaneously killed each other. I guess I'll take my 5k back from the potion seller and this is going to be a lot of scrap to go through. It's almost time to leave, but first we visit the local drug dealer in the sewers, handing him the green ore we collected almost 15 floors ago, buying the rare artifact bow whose name I refuse to read for 4,000 gold. This bow has a 50% chance to fire a random and powerful magical arrow, so we use the last of our scrolls to enchant it twice. And now it's time to enter the caves. This dark sprawling mess is specifically designed to one-hit your entire team. Filled with boulder traps, golems, and of course our arch enemy, the cockatrice, I've lost more runs here than in the mines, and normally I'd be terrified. But today, we're here on a hunt. Thanks to our speed, levitation, turrets, and artifact bow, we're able to tear our way through the first floor, taking golems down in just 3 arrows. Everything dies before me, including the clones of myself with no freedom or personality. These backup bodies built to continually trap me here after death. Entering the next floor, the Minotaur returns once again to try stop us. I cut down golems, cockatrices, and use their bones to build more traps, placing down over 40 explosives in a single spot. I step back and watch as the Minotaur is deleted from existence. Marching through several floors, we hunt down every cockatrice we can find, until we find ourselves inside the cockatrice's lair. Normally an incredibly difficult secret floor, thanks to the confusing mess of trapdoors, puzzles, and kobold cultists. However, today it's nothing to us. Here we find the Dragon's Mail, our final artifact, and the only thing worthy of replacing our trusty apron. Casually, we walk through the final boulder trap, taking several to the face without caring, and drop down into the boss's room. We deploy our turrets, grab our axe, and begin cutting down anything that moves. There is no reward for this violence, so we march on. Another Minotaur floor? How many times do I have to teach this old man a lesson? And delete it again. Before we know it, we enter the final biome, the Clockwork Citadel. Built by the incestuous Silicon Valley twins who now rule the world, this overstimulating fortress is a reminder that rich people have no taste. Overconfident, I rush out, and for the first time in a while, we almost die as an incubus steals our artifact bow right out of our hands, teleports away, and watches as a powerful drunken goatman begins beating me off with a mace. I throw down an army of turrets which refuse to attack the incubus who stole my bow, so I charge him with my axe and he teleports away again. And just as he does, a cockatrice appears. Still incredibly unskilled in axes, I try to defend myself, but it's on top of me. I swing wildly and thankfully accidentally hit the incubus who stole my bow, but I'm paralyzed and on half health. Before it can finish me off, however, the turrets end the cockatrice's life. I try to get my bearings, but another appears. Stop it! I'm the main character! I already killed Satan! These final floors prove that no matter how strong you become in Barony, overconfidence will easily end your entire run. We march on, and on the very final floor before we face the evil that has trapped us here, he returns for one last try. Placing down an entire stack of explosives, I sit quietly and wait. This familiar feeling is the closest thing to home that Clanker has anymore. Eventually, the Minotaur appears, and from a direction I didn't expect. But nevertheless, we deal with him easily, retrieve our stack of explosives, and enter the throne room. After close to 5 hours, Clanker has ended hundreds of lives. 2 more are nothing in the grand scheme. Once these fools are dead, I'll finally be able to rest. We've spread our turrets out to avoid any AoE, quietly set up 22 explosive traps, and step back, deciding in this very moment that I won't dirty my hands further, leaving it all to the turrets. Suddenly, they appear. Orpheus charges me, walking directly into the explosives. He's blown to pieces, and while dazed, the turrets rip him to shreds. He's dead almost instantly. His sister, Eurydice, is enraged, but not as much as this guy in the comments, who if he looks up right now, will see the joke flying over his head. We do nothing, simply step back and happily watch as Eurydice is mowed down by our turrets. Eventually, her screams fade, and I realize something. For the first time, there is silence. And it is deafening. Clanker knows that he can't leave yet, not while these fools rely on him, destroying their very brains in order to save seconds each day. He returns to the human world, more human than they are, and they welcome his rule. Just quickly, thank you to BootyMan69. He is keeping these videos sponsor-free as our sole YouTube member for $1. Also, thank you to people who asked me to do this run. I actually got rank 14 on the World Daily Leaderboard, which is the highest I've ever had.